Is AI replacing your job, my job, our job as salespeople? It's a very big question. It's a very huge topic. And before I share with you my research, my reviews, my advice, and all my professional tips for you, welcome. I hope that you're all keeping well. To my current subscribers, I'm so happy to be able to create another content and be back in the game. And of course, if you're new to the channel, please do check out my playlist. I do create a lot of sales related videos, from telemarketing to cold calling to face-to-face selling to small business owners. Basically, my channel will evolve on sales, communication, and career growth. So let's get on to this very big topic. I'm very excited because this also impacts my work, and I'm scared. I'm scared what AI is doing or taking away from me as someone who spent my entire life learning, crafting my sales skills. So get a drink, get ready, let's get into it. So the biggest question is AI replacing salespeople in 2025? I've done my research, and of course, with the help of AI, I'm able to find information that guides me to this topic that we are all very, very affected by. So, what AI can already do in sales? So, let's identify first what AI can already do on behalf of us as salespeople. Lead generate. We all know that lead generation is a very big role as a salesperson as well. You're not only focused on making sales, but you're also focused on generating leads for yourself. And it's an ongoing process. Generating leads is not only as and when you need it. It's actually an ongoing, it should be approached proactively. So you're not running out of leads, and especially when you are in a very competitive industry. So number two, what AI can already do in sales. So before I go to the second point, it's lead generation. How does AI do that? I think we can all agree that if you just go on any chat GPT or any advanced AI app that you are subscribing to, you are able to generate leads in a matter of seconds. So another thing that AI can take away from us as salespeople is basic cold calling, basic conversation cold calling. And what I mean by that is, if you're familiar with chatbots, it's a very basic cold calling. I do get a lot of that here in Singapore. I would get calls, or if I'm calling a bank or I'm doing my phone banking, there is a possibility that there will be some chatbot to basically accommodate my call at the beginning. And of course, should I need further assistance and should I need to speak to a human being, then the chatbot or the AI has done its job already for the first 2 minutes of a conversation. What AI can also take away from us as salespeople is data management. Basically, what it is it automates the reports. Basically, it's like it's your own admin, if you may. It basically integrates all your follow-ups, your reminders, and so on and so forth. I remember back in the day when there was no AI, all of my appointments, all of my sales calls, my reminders, my follow-ups are all done manually. Personally, as someone very old school, I would say I still do prefer that in many ways, because I feel that when you write something or when you wrote something, you remember that faster, or it registers in your brain a little bit more, much better than if you've actually just typed it on the computer. That's just the old person in me. So if we look at these three things, like lead gen or lead generation, cold calling, data management, it's an advantage to us. It's an advantage to us than a problem. Simply because it's using AI, it saves time. And of course, especially the admin task. You know, when you're doing sales, a lot of times it helps when you can take away a big fraction of your admin work and have someone to assist you do that. In this case, it's the AI who's going to do that for you. So this is the good side of having AI being present in our life or in our business as salespeople. Yes. Of course, if you have an AI to manage all these things or do the basic cold calling for you or help you lead generate and manage your data, your appointments and your follow-ups, you can focus more on your sales. So that's actually a good thing. So now, here's my take. Let's break it down. So, lead generation, yes, AI can help you generate new leads. However, what AI cannot replace is your ability and nature to generate stronger leads. And those are referrals. And referrals are worth gold. And so, if you do have your AI supporting you with your new leads, new listings, fresh listings, that's actually a great thing. But keep in mind that what AI cannot replace is your ability as a human to generate referrals, which personally is still a very strong or stronger leads compared to fresh leads. And of course, I'll give you a tip. How do I actually how do I effectively generate referrals? Referrals is a very good lead, but it's also hard to get. I remember that whenever I make a sale, my client is always hesitant to give me a referral because at the end of the day, I think there's a certain hesitation there or a reservation to feel that, okay, my friend might not like that I referred him or her to you. So let me call my friend first and ask if she would be okay to be contacted by you. Something like that, you know. So I think that's one of the hindrance or one of the setback of clients giving referrals. But of course, my tip for you is focus on really improving your communication skills. When you're trying to get a referral, you are also trying to get a sale. When I was coaching or when I was a team lead back in the day, so I was running a sales team for telemarketing programs for hotel brands all over Asia, Australia, and one thing that stays the same if you want to be effective in getting referrals, you don't make it easy for your client. Meaning to say, first, you don't want to ask so casually. Second, your selection of words matters. And thirdly, timing is everything. So when you're trying to get a referral, don't be so simple. Don't be so easygoing by saying, "So, Mr. Smith, do you have any referrals to give me? Do you have any referrals to give me?" So that is not a very good introduction when you're actually trying to get a referral from him that you actually would like to approach and sell the business. And so my advice is really master your communication skill. So you don't want to ask, "Do you?" Do you want to give me a referral? Do you have any friends to refer? What you want to do is to rephrase that statement. And when you do that, you want to make it sound like you're actually doing his friends a favor. So my approach or my advice to my sales team back in the days would always be, so Mr. Smith, I understand that you actually possibly could have a similar lifestyle as with some of your friends who also would appreciate some discounts, some savings. Perhaps you have friends who also travel like yourself and probably spend a lot of money traveling or staying in hotels without any special rate. That's just an example. You gotta use this example as like a template to the product that you're selling. So the tone will be different if you're selling an insurance plan, if you're selling a car, or a banking product or a bank product. So use this as a template. Your approach should be you are a solution, that you are asking him or not asking him. You're assuming that he should have friends as well who potentially would also have the same lifestyle or would also be happy to save a lot of money from using the same product that he had signed up for. So the objective is to not just ask loosely and say, can I get a referral from you? Do you have any friends to refer? So I hope that's actually a very good tip for you to take note of if you're actually trying to improve your technique in generating referrals. Because we do know that when it's referred by someone who already bought from you, the trust factor is already there. And I think the biggest challenge in any sales or in any small business who's conducting sales as the source to generate business naturally, of course, it's the trust that someone referred you by someone who's already used the product or who's already signed up for the services. So take note of that tip. You want to sound like you are extending the solution to the people that he may have on his directory. And another tip I want to give you, don't ask for one. Always start with a higher number. For example, instead of saying, perhaps you can give me a name. You want to start with, I'm sure you have at least 5 friends in your mind, 5 close friends you have in mind who could also enjoy this same benefits you've actually signed up for, and for them to be able to save money and have a great lifestyle. And of course, he might say, I don't have 5, but I can give you 2. Then you've got 2 referrals. So these are really tried and tested techniques when you're actually trying to generate referrals. So I hope you guys enjoy that tip. So, of course, let's go to the next part. The next part is basic cold calling. This is the bots. Have you ever experienced that? Or actually, I think we all do connect with chat bots. We can't avoid it, especially here in Singapore. So let's talk about this now. Let me share with you my take on this. So bots basically handle cold calling, basic cold calling. And the purpose of that obviously is time saving. And of course, at the same time, if the reason for cold calling is very basic, there is no need for companies to hire people like us. That's the downside, right? So, however, I'm not convinced that AI or bots are able to completely take over your job if your job is cold calling. In fact, I do believe that cold calling is not dead. If you're still cold calling in 2025, I do have a lot of really good videos in my playlist. Please do check it out and chat with me on the comment section if you have any recommendations or any questions, and I might be able to help you, and I hope I would be able to help you. So do check that out. So let's go back to this topic. I'm not convinced that bots are taking over cold calling. This is not something that I feel AI is able to take over fully. Partially, yes, but fully, I do not think so. And the reason for that is there's a few reasons. Someone like me who's been in sales, has done sales myself, have coached salespeople, have trained salespeople, have run sales team. There's few things that AI is not able to take away from us. Building rapport. AI is not able to build rapport. That bots who took your call or who called you and had a conversation with you on the first 2 minutes, there is that the bots is not able to build rapport with your client or with our clients. Overcoming objections. I am not convinced that AI is able to fully take over as well because of overcoming objections. I'm not convinced that AI is able to take over and overcome objection for us or for our clients. Small talks with our prospects. We know that in sales, there's the whole sales presentation is not purely selling. There's a lot of personal touch. There's a lot of what I call small talks. And small talks is very, very effective if you are in sales. And in fact, in one of my videos about small business owners, where I share tips on how you can apply your sales skills if you are also a small business owner, I think fundamentally we need to remember that small talks is very effective. It eases the conversation, it relaxes your client and yourself, and it takes away some pressure from you and from your client. My take has always been, in any sales transaction, there's two people who are pressurized, the salesperson and the buyer. Yes, the buyer also feels a sense of pressure because they have to make a decision, or are they making a good decision, and so on and so forth. So another reason why AI is not really there to fully take over our jobs is the human touch, storytelling with clients. So there's the small talk, but there's also the human touch. There's the empathy factor. You know, you could be, I don't know if you've ever experienced talking to a client and you suddenly ended up talking about motherhood, or you started talking about raising teenagers, or you started talking about living overseas as foreigners. So these are topics, these are I would call human touch factors that AI is not able to take over, or AI is not able to deliver, and so therefore they can't really take over our job as salespeople. So we have hope. Don't give up, don't give up as salespeople, and don't be intimidated with AI taking over or taking away your job. So finally, trust and connection. So while AI can only deliver convenience, accuracy, I guess, but also the trust and connection between the client and the prospect, or the client and the salesperson. So this, I believe, AI is not able to replicate. I believe AI is not able to take over or even copy and paste our ability as humans to trust and connect. And I would call this even the part where you exchange giggles with your client. joke around, laugh about something, or have you ever had a presentation where suddenly something was too funny that it just broke the whole seriousness and stiffness in the meeting room? Something like that. So that one, AI is not able to replicate or replace. So if you weigh on what AI can replace or what AI can take over from us versus what they can't, I find that what they can't is still significantly more than what they can. So I want to share with you more of this, but I'm going to break this whole topic into a couple of videos because I think that one of the most important topic right now is AI. And so having said that, I do explore my cold calling playlist or cold calling videos. Of course, I have a lot of videos that would also help you in that. So again, there are a few things on my list before we go on to part 2 and part 3. But before I close today's training session, I want to also add on 2 tips before we go to part 2. So 2 tips for this whole topic is review your sales performance. A lot of salespeople, a lot of great salespeople I've worked with in my entire 20 plus years in sales, running sales team, working with really good salespeople. Like when you say good, is they deliver numbers, but they're also very crafted, very, very good with their skills. So there's 2 tips I want to give you before we close today's training session, and that will be review your sales performance. Your coach, your trainer, your manager could be helping you, reminding you of how far you are, how short you are with your sales target or your quotas. But very important, guys, as a salesperson in 2025 with AI everywhere, is to really review your sales performance. Because when you review your sales performance, and what I mean by review your sales performance is not purely by the numbers. I'm referring to, okay, what are the reasons why you fell short with your KPI last Q2 or Q1, for example? What I recommend is to go through a simple list for yourself. So number 1, you're building rapport skills. You're overcoming objection skills. Your communication skills. Your ability to recruit referrals effectively from your existing clients. Your resourcefulness to do what others are not doing to succeed in your craft. So really understand and really be the best judge and best critic to yourself, because when you actually really pay attention on the very detailed aspects of your craft, you have a lot of room to grow. There's a lot of adjustments, there's a lot of trainings or retraining or refreshment courses you can do in order for you to improve those areas. Because only when you improve those areas you're not very good at, or the areas you're very new to, or you're very unfamiliar with, I guarantee you, your next Q3 or your Q4, your performance will get better. And not because of anything else, but it's because of what adjustments you've done from yourself, from your sales skill, and from your ability to execute a good sales presentation. And of course, one more tip before we close today's training session: retrain. As a sales coach, I believe that even if there's AI, and even if AI is here to stay, based on what I have shared with you earlier on what AI cannot do, focus on that and retrain yourself. Doesn't matter how long you've been in sales, doesn't matter how new you are in sales. Sales, I keep saying this in many of my videos, sales, it's not easy, but it's simple. So let that sink into you and really understand that it's always a great thing to retrain yourself in areas you're good at, you're best at, and in areas you need more training. So in closing, please do check out my playlist and you'll find a lot of videos that would help you. I'm excited to be back and be able to share with you my sales expertise, my first-hand experience as your sales coach. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to comment if you want to share something to us, to our community. If you feel like, you can click like. If you feel like, you can click subscribe. That helps support the channel grow. And I'm just excited of what we're about to dive into in the coming parts of this sequence, because it's a big topic. It affects all of us in a good way and in not so good way. But that's life. I'll see you guys. Have a good day. Bye.